Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to see you here again. My name is Carla and I am a full-time fiber artist and a part-time reseller. So on this channel I share different things about my fiber business and fiber arts, as well as various projects that we'll get into. And I also share information about my little reselling journey and how I like to source products from places like the Goodwill bins or other thrift stores, and then turn around and resell those items for profit. So that is what we are all about here. Mostly it will be fiber arts though. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about my goals for this year. We are just about at the end of January, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did for January in regards to fiber arts. But we've only got about a week left, so I'm not going to be making any other, put anything else on my plate for the month. I had planned to put a video out earlier, like in November or December. However, it just became a really busy time for me. There were a lot of things that were coming up. We had Thanksgiving, and then I also had the 1-year anniversary was rolling around for losing my mom, and so that was kind of hard to get through. And then we had power outages that lasted for about 5 days. I got sick for 2 weeks. It was just on and on and on. Windstorms left and right. So I didn't get a lot done, but I did do. But anyways, I really do hope to be able to be on a better schedule this year and get some stuff filmed for you and get some projects started and just do some really fun things. I've got a lot of things planned in my mind, and I just really need to get them out of my head into my hands, and actually do something. So fiber arts wise, the first project that I have in mind, and I did start this a long time ago, months ago, probably mid last year, maybe sooner. And I had dyed up 2 pounds of wool to create a cardigan or a pullover sweater or something like that. And I am happy to report that I have that fiber all spun up. So let me get this out of my bag. I was waiting for the last 2 skeins to be finished. So I haven't counted the yardage up for that, but I can tell you I'm going to estimate, I think I've got over 2,000 yards. So I'm sure it's over 2,000. So I'm going to have enough to do something, either a cardigan or a pullover. I'll probably do a cardigan because I just like to have something that I can put off and on as opposed to pullover. But we'll see. I need to look through some pattern books that I have and see if I'm actually going to be following a pattern or if I'm going to do a measure as you go, which I'm kind of leaning in that direction, but we'll see. So let me show you some of the yarn. This is a merino bamboo, my favorite yarn that I like to dye. And so these are the skeins that I've got that are already measured out. I took my time with these and I spun a pretty thin, 2 singles, per skein, and then I plied them. And I was actually really happy with how they came out. It has that bright pink fuchsia color in there with gold and aqua, and those are just some of my favorite colors. So they're not all exactly the same, and that's kind of par for course when you're doing working with fibers that are indie dyed, and especially the way that I like to dye. I do kettle dyeing, and so I'll dye 1 pound at a time. And these 2 pounds that I dyed, I kind of actually did them in 2 separate pots, but at the same time. So I was careful to put the same amount of dye in it. But depending on how you spin it, depending on how the dye hits the water and swims around and does its own little magical thing, you'll get a few little bit different results. So I have those 4, and then the last 2, I have to count the yardage on these, but these were huge. I got to the point to where I was just going to put as much as I could on my wheel. And I got to the point where I was just putting as much as I could on the bobbins on the wheel. And this one's a bit brighter than this one, and that's okay. What I'm probably going to do is, once I need to set the twist on these, so I will either soak them in some warm water or I will steam them. I may just steam them because I'm anxious to get started, but I will then put it on my ball winder and I will lay the balls out or the skeins out in the order that I want to work on it. And I might actually split them up into smaller ones, and I'm thinking that way I can have not so much of a big blocks of variations in the cardigan, but smaller ones, so it looks a bit more intentional. But we'll see. I've been thinking about this for months, so I'm really excited to get started on it, and I'll be sure to video that progress and you know, see how it goes. But that is the first project. So that's going to be the first goal that I have for myself for February, is hopefully by the time February 1st rolls around, I will have set the twist on that yarn and it'll be ready to go. So my next spin is going to be with some fiber that I pulled out from the sale, because when I dyed it, I really, really loved it, and I probably should have just pulled it out then and just, you know, kept it for myself. But if I pulled out everything that I wanted or that I liked, I wouldn't have anything left for my sale. So that can't be the case, because I have to have my sale. That's how I pay my bills. But these were some braids that were in the sale. They are merino bamboo, the 70-30 blend. And there was just something about them that I loved. The colors reminded me kind of a southwestern or a sunset. So they have a lot of this kind of a brick red or in a pink with some gold and some brown. So there's one, there's the other. I don't know how these colors are coming out very well. And here this one is. So if you looked at them, let me see if I can do it like this. Maybe give you a better view. So I've got one that's quite a bit lighter than the other two. Let's show them like this. But I really do like this combination of colors. So I'll spin this. It will give me 12 ounces of fiber. And if I spin it thin enough, I don't know if that'll be enough to maybe make a tank top, or maybe some type of a camisole type tank top that I can wear under, like maybe a denim shirt or something for the summer. I'm trying to do more completed, finished projects that showcase the dyeing and spinning. So when I am at a in-person live sale, the 2 festivals that I do here in Oregon, then there's something to show as an example, to show how it, you know, how the fiber spins up, that sort of thing. Because even like this, I did show it during my sale, but it has the 30% bamboo, which is the white fiber, which is this. So you can see it running through here, and it's a shiny fiber. So it's kind of, if you haven't spun it before, it might be a little difficult to picture or to understand and see how it's going to spin out. So anyways, these are going to be the next 3. So I will set the twist on all these fibers and plan out what I'm going to do cardigan wise. I think I'll do something pretty basic with the stitches, like a double crochet, but I do want to add in maybe like some bobbles or some other type of a texture stitch to put in there, just to kind of add it as a different feature, maybe like on the sleeves, on the cuffs, or around the collar, or around the bottom of it, the ribbing, something like that. So I'll work on that. I think I've got a book somewhere that is nothing but crochet stitches, so I'll look through that and pick the stitch that I think I want to work with, and that I'll have enough yarn to work with. So that is what I will be doing over January and February. Hopefully I'll have that done probably in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully, depending on how quickly I do that. So the next thing on the list for February is that I am going to be in the Wool and Fiber Arts Community Group's live sale, which is the last weekend of the month. However, I think it might be moved up. No, I think that's March. Yeah, I think it is going to be the last weekend of the month for February. And I have a lot of dyeing to do. I've got a fresh bump of the merino alpaca camel silk, so I'll be doing some dyeing also in February. So I do dye some commercial yarn, but the goal is to dye some more and maybe increase that part of my business. I really enjoy dyeing it. However, I have limitations as far as I use my regular oven to do it, and I would prefer not to do that. So I have been looking on Facebook Marketplace trying to find a bread proofer. I think they call it that, like a bread proofer or a food warming cabinet, and I want the big one, like the kind that you would see at Subway, that sort of thing. So I've been looking at those, and I actually have one that I'm going to go and look at either tomorrow or the day after. So hopefully that goes well. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So other than that, I think that's about where I'm at. I did do a little bit of spinning. I did spin some coarse spun on my Ashford jumbo spinner. I still need to take that off and ply it back with some rayon thread to kind of give it a little bit of definition. So I will be doing that soon. And I've kind of just been waiting for it to warm up a bit because it's been so cold here. We actually did start to get some rain, and the rain meant that it was warming up for us. So that was kind of a nice change. So let's take a look at the yarn. All right, so this is the coarse spun that I spun on the Ashford Jumbo Country Spinner. I just love, love, love this big wheel. But it's a fluffy coarse spun. And the next step will be to unwind it and take it off. And then I'll take it and I will ply it back through with a rayon yarn or a thread, which I have an assortment of them there in that little blue sewing kit. So I'll find a color that'll match, and then I will use that with this, and then it will be all ready to take it off and then steam it and set the twist on that. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you again on the next video. Bye.